Welcome back. I'm your host, Leslie Cottle, and you are listening to This Empowered Life podcast, the podcast helping you find your life's purpose and align with your highest timeline. We cover all topics: life, love, career, wealth, and of course, the journey and evolution of the soul. On today's episode, we are talking about a topic that I'm very passionate about, and that is how to think for yourself. Tune in for an extremely potent episode on the what, why, and how of being the master in control of your mind and your thoughts. Hello, podcast. So I have been working on a new coaching program for the last few weeks. Also, I am recording this via video, so I'm hoping to, we'll just see what happens. I'm trying a new mic and I'm also trying to video record this at the same time. So hopefully I am fully present on this podcast today. Where have I been, guys? I have been working on my coaching program, and now that it's launched, I'm excited. I'm ready for new content, and I'm excited to be back on the podcast. So I launched my coaching program on Saturday, and I shared my personal story on Instagram, and it was really just all about my transformation with finding my life's purpose and how it helped transform my business as well as my offerings. So if you want that, go to Instagram, go to my page, find that. But second, when it comes to finding your life's purpose, one of the things that really upsets me is that when people don't have clarity on something, whether it's in their life or on their life's purpose, it just makes me so upset when people think it's their fault or that something's wrong with them. And I wanted to tackle the question today of why do we not know who we are? And to tackle that, we have to go under a layer and we have to honestly ask ourselves, are we even thinking for ourselves? So if we're not, we have to first realize that, be humble enough to realize that. And second, to start a practice that really supports and nurtures how to think for yourself and how to have a strong, independent mind. So you hear this in spiritual work all of the time, that you don't need to add anything, you don't need anything else. What you have to do is just strip away all of the layers that aren't you. And this rings so true. I've been on this journey for a few years now, and it's just truer than ever. I believe that the reason that people don't know about anything isn't a product of them being lost, is not a product of them being confused. It is a symptom of years of miseducation on how to use the mind, of how to be independent, an independent thinker, and also misalignment of mixing their own unique truth mixed in with the beliefs of others. So misalignment on which of those actually belong to them and which belong to other people. So going back to this idea that you don't need to gain anything, you don't need to add anything, what we really need to do is just take those layers away that aren't you, take away the beliefs that aren't you, the ideas that aren't you, the things that don't feel true to you are the things that we have to take away. And underneath all of that is really who you are, where the journey is, and that is how we know who we are. But there's this huge peeling the onion type thing going on until we get to that core of who we are. So why does this happen? When you think about thoughts and beliefs, I always like to go back to my hypnotherapy training. So this is where Melissa Woods, shout out to Melissa Woods, my hypnotherapy teacher, she would always say that everything is trance, meaning just like how a song can make you tap your foot, a sentence that you have that you exchange with someone or that you read in a book can change your state of awareness, can change your mind. So if everything is trance and that we're always transferring or transmuting energy with everything that we interact with, we have to know how to protect our own energy, meaning protecting our own thoughts, our own beliefs, our own state of mind. So the problem is that a lot of people don't know how to do that. And if you come to this place where you don't know what you stand for, and you don't know where you stand, all of this other information gets really confusing and you start to take it on as your own. You start to think that maybe that's my belief, maybe that's my thought, maybe that's my goal, if we don't have this solid knowing of who it is that we are. And from being children, we are inundated with information, right? We're just blasted with a ridiculous amount of content daily. And I'm using the word content on purpose because it's content. It's all content out there, whether you're watching the social media, online advertisements, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're watching the news, it's content. And we have to be really mindful about the content that we're consuming. And we also have to be mindful that there's so much content that we can't actually protect ourselves from. So we're going to be seeing it and interacting with it constantly. So if you don't know what you stand for and why you stand for it, you honestly have no choice but to start getting lost in the sea of what everyone else is thinking, what everyone else is doing, what everyone else's beliefs are, what their actions are, what their agendas are, because we're missing that piece, which is who we are. And as you know, someone's interpretation of something, someone's belief is not going to serve you the way it serves them. And so you have to figure out on your own, using discernment, about what makes you happy, what brings you joy, what your beliefs are. And this has been happening your whole life. So if no one ever sat you down and told you, hey, you need to learn how to control your own thoughts and energy without matching someone else's, without matching what you're consuming, and then reinforce that every single day because we're watching so much content that we need that reinforcement all the time, well, of course, it's going to be kind of hard for you to start that practice. And it's not that we're here to blame anyone. We're not here to blame the system. We're not here to blame anything, any people, our parents, nothing. It's just we get to take responsibility for it and call this a powerful moment when you start to change your life, when you start to take responsibility for what it is that you can change, meaning your thoughts and your actions. So there are 3 ways to really unlock this for yourself. And the first way is through awareness. We got to become really aware that this is happening in our life. We need to be aware of the content we're consuming and how we're playing that out. We need to be aware of the podcast that we're listening to, the music that we're listening to, the TV programming that we're listening to. Are you listening to it and watching and consuming those things because you want to? Or is it because you saw something that told you to? And that's up for you to decide. So you need to build this really strong awareness around what you're consuming and what the actions are that you're taking in reference to it. The second thing that you get to do is that you get to take responsibility and ownership over your life, over your actions. I know that it's really easy to blame other people, but we can't blame someone if they were consuming the same things and the same lies and the same trance that we were also consuming. So you can't blame anyone else. You just have to recognize and take responsibility for yourself. If you see a change, you get to make the change, and that's power. And the third thing that you get to do is you get to train your mind, retrain the mind, how to think for itself. So the easiest way to do this is with meditation. Meditation teaches you how to redirect your focus. So if everything that we're looking at, everything we're consuming is trance, it's going to put you into a trance. Meditation is going to teach you how to look at this and then come back and center with yourself, with your own thoughts, with your own beliefs, with what it is that you want. And you can see this other thought and you get to choose whether or not you want to bring it in or reject it. So those are the 3 things. And I really feel like we have to start looking at everything that we're consuming, songs, shows, news, your best friend's beliefs, your parents' beliefs, and you get to ask yourself with every single thing that comes to you, every single idea, every single thought, you get to ask yourself, do I want to believe this is true? Or is there a belief that serves me better? So that's it for today's podcast today. Sending you so much love, so much light, and so much peace. Tune in Tuesdays for more yummy and soulful episodes. If you love what you're hearing and want to support the podcast, please follow and rate the podcast on Spotify and Apple to help new listeners find us. To find out more about my coaching and healing practice, head over to my website, www.lesliecottle.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.